All right, so story time about how my mom and my ex-husband now slept together over and over. I'll also show a few more pictures. This is a complex situation, so I'll get through it as quickly as I can, but there's a lot to this. So this was my husband. Yes, my eyebrows are crazy thin. Here's another picture from our wedding. Now, my mom wasn't always looking the way she does, obviously, in her mugshot. She was actually quite beautiful. So let me show you a picture before the drugs overtook her. That was my mom. This is my mom and my husband around the time that they would have met. And this is my mom when my husband and her, I think, started sleeping together. I'll never know the exact timeline of when all this happened. I know approximately when it happened, but my mom didn't want to go into details, and my ex-husband just downplays everything. So when she says that they've been together over and over and over, well over a dozen times, he says it was just twice. And you probably think I'm crazy to believe a meth addict over him, but this man is a pathological liar. I won't go into all the lies in this video. I do plan to make more videos about some of the other lies because it is amazing how someone can manipulate someone for so long and get them to believe the most insane things. Keep in mind, I met him when I was 19, so really impressionable, really young. We got married when I was 20. I couldn't even drink alcohol legally, so obviously a huge mistake. But he convinced me he was a virgin when we married. I was a virgin, for sure. It became very apparent to me that he was not a virgin, but I believed it and went with it.
All right, now, messy family. Welcome back. I'm sorry. I know I took a few days off. I do not mean to. It's just not compelling stories, enough compelling stories out there for me. I'm not going to just post anything. If it ain't messy, you probably won't see a video upload that day. But this is very messy. I'm not going to lie. You can already tell by the title and description. This is crazy. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. Throughout this video, you will see proof. Now, at the end of it, I did collect all of the confessional tapes between her and him and her mother. And I'm telling you right now, you want to stay to watch that. That's going to be closer to the end, so you're going to have to watch it through. First, we're going to get her story time about what she recalls happening, and then we're going to get the confession tape. So this one right here, y'all, it was definitely worth me taking some time off to find the best ones for you. So check this out. Don't forget to hit that like, and messy family, I'll see you at the end of the video, like always.
And then about 6 months into our marriage, one of the big lies broke open. I took my wedding ring to get cleaned, and the jeweler was being really kind, but he basically was like, I'm not sure why you want us to clean a piece of glass. And this was really crazy because I was with my grandma and I literally I was at a mall, and so I went into just like common area, and I called my husband immediately and I was like, oh my God, you got scammed. I was so dumb. He didn't get scammed. He bought a fake ring. It took me some time, but I finally came around, had the ring tested over and over, and it was definitely not diamond. Now, I just want to clarify. So this was really upsetting to me because we had picked out, he always took me to the most expensive places. That was his thing. He just slung money around as if he had a bunch. He didn't. He was broke, but I didn't know that. It appeared as though he had a lot of money, and I'm coming from like a broken situation in terms of how I was raised, and so I'm looking for some security. So the ring was upsetting because he took me to Tiffany's. I picked out this little tiny yellow diamond ring with little tiny white diamonds around it, and it was around $1,300, which was very affordable for us at that time. And then for fun, we tried on some bigger dream rings. And so we tried on 2-carat, really clear, nice cushion cut diamond. So when he gave me the wedding ring, when he surprised me with it, it was the 2-carat diamond ring, and I was really upset. I actually handed it back to him and asked him to return it because I knew it was a $60,000 ring. That's what they told us when we were there, and I have no interest in sinking that kind of money into a wedding ring, especially when there was just so many other things we could have done with that money. And so I just begged him to take it back, and he's like, no, it's a done deal. And instead of just telling me it didn't cost that much, that's not what it is, it's not actually real, he let me believe that I was carrying around this $60,000 ring, showing it off to people. One day I dropped it in the parking lot, and I had like actual panic attack because I thought I just ruined our lives, because that type of money is just insane to me. So anyways, really annoying that he did that. And when I finally found out it was fake, he still tried to deny it over and over. It was just a bad thing. And that's what started opening my eye up to things that are probably not true. So if you recognize him, if you were with him at some point, please reach out to me, because there were rumors going around that he was engaged when I met him. And I was young, I was 19. It's not an excuse, but when I asked him, he said, no, we're not engaged. We had been engaged for 6 years, but it didn't work out. She kept pressuring me for sex, and I didn't want to go through with it. Give me a freaking break. I feel so stupid for believing that, obviously. Hindsight's 2020. And so one day we're at lunch, we're working together. He's my boss, not technically my boss, but he definitely has more seniority than me. I'm a kid, basically, right? So we go to lunch one day and we run into his ex-fiance, and it was crazy awkward, and I just didn't think it should be, because I thought they had moved on from each other. He said they never lived together. I don't believe that now, but he claims they never lived together. And when I met her, she was just really upset, and so I just stepped away and let them have their space. But oh my God, if I could have been a fly on that wall, maybe I would have woken up to what I was dealing with here with him. There's also another huge lie that came out in all of this. I believe now that none of his family knows that we were married. None of them came to the wedding, and I tried to send them invitations and he would not let me send them. He said, oh, I'll take care of that for you. Just give me the invitations. I found them in his car months later after we had already been married, so I knew he never sent them. And so when I confronted him about why he didn't send the invitations, he said that his family didn't want him to marry me, that I was basically beneath them. His family was ultra wealthy. His dad, I guess, supposedly did AstroTurf for the NFL or something. And so he claims that I was sort of beneath what his family wanted for him. And next thing I know, I get these weird emails from his dad. I still have these emails, and this was at a time when I didn't know how easy it was for people to just make fake email accounts. It was like their first dot last name at gmail.com. And I believed it. I actually corresponded with his dad. I now believe those messages were from him, but they were vile. They were the most vile messages I've ever received. His dad supposedly hit on me in these messages, which is, again, hindsight's 2020. I was a kid, give me some grace, but those didn't come from his dad. And recently, when I was with him, one of his sisters called. He has, I believe, 3 sisters, and unfortunately I can't contact any of them because I know their first names. I don't even know if I really know their first names. They're probably fake. I don't know their last names. I think they're all married. But anyways, he was on the phone with one of his sisters, and I said, oh, tell your sister I said hi. And I could hear her say to him, who is that? And he said, oh, it's just a girl. And she's like, it better not be that ex-girlfriend of yours. And she goes, yo, redhead with the big boobs. So ex-girlfriend, right? She never knew that we were married. Anyways, back to the main story that you guys are interested in. I just wanted to set the scene for some of the lies so you could understand. We tried to make it work for many years. He actually filed for separation from me for a crazy reason. I'll do a video on that sometime. And I told him, if you separate from me as your wife, he wanted to be separated legally, but he wanted to still be married and live together. And it's because he wanted to have our finances totally separate. And so I told him, if you separate from me, I will divorce you. And that's what I did. However, we haven't been able to break up fully, right? We just keep getting back together. We had a long spell of time where we weren't together. That's not when he was with my mom. I really don't know. I just know that when they were together, him and I were also together. Now, I've dated other people in the meantime when we've been fully separated. I've never cheated on anyone ever in my life. But this man has claimed until these lies came out, he had still claimed that he had only ever had sex with me. No one but me in all of these years, right? Even up until a year ago, he was still saying that I was the only woman he had ever been with. Quick reminder, again, I have zero interest in people trying to dig up his identity and find out who he is. Again, he has a really public job. It's a really good job, and I am just not here to mess up anything for anybody and my mom. I'm out of time, I'm sorry, but there's going to be a part 2. So again, please just don't try to figure out who he is and cause problems for him. I'm not about that. So you're probably wondering what it was, like why all this happened. I am definitely sapiosexual. I don't know if you know what that means, but I'm a person who is attracted to intelligence over anything else. And I don't know why I'm that way. And this individual is literally the most book smart, intelligent person I've ever met. And I've dated a surgeon and a scientist and a professor, people like that, right? That's my type, which clearly I need to change up, but that's always what intrigues me. And there literally isn't a subject that I could talk to this man about that he wouldn't know just everything. He has photographic memory. Whatever he reads, he fully retains. And he went to medical school, he went to law school. Again, this is what he told me, so who really knows? But I just believe it based on his wealth of knowledge. And that's sort of what's kept sucking me in, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. I also believe that he is on the spectrum. He is really has always been against any type of therapy. In fact, that's what finally broke us up is I literally told him if we're going to work through this, we have to have therapy. I need help. I cannot be our therapist for this because I am definitely more emotionally intelligent than he is. Anyways, I just truly believe he's on the spectrum somewhere. I think that all that intelligence he has come with a cost. So back to the story. We were on a break and it's a little bit complex, but he lives in my hometown. That's where his job is. And that's also where my mom lives. I had moved to another town, which is a few hours away with my grandparents because my grandma got breast cancer and we needed to get closer to medical facilities. So what had happened is I ended up getting a new place of my own. And I invited him and my mom to come over to see my new place. And my mom, obviously, she had started with the meth, and so she couldn't drive. She actually totaled her car and had a DUI. That's one of those mugshots, unfortunately. And so he offered to bring her over to visit. Now, I knew he was spending some time with her, but it did not seem like it was nefarious in any way. He would go over and drop food off for her. She had a yard sale, he would go and purchase things. He basically was claiming that he was just trying to help her out because she was in a bad situation and he was working desperately to get back with me. And so he thought if he helped my mom that I would be more interested in getting back together. And it made me more interested. I thought it was really loving and caring of him to do that. So they come over to my house, and right away, I just noticed really weird energy. It feels like my mom is jealous of my interaction with him, which is really strange. And him and I weren't together at this time. And so I just thought it was really bizarre. She just kept causing problems and she's always trying to one up me. And she kept fighting with him. It was just really uncomfortable. And so they ended up staying the night. And it's awful because I was really burned out just dealing with my mom. If you've been around someone that deals with those types of drugs, they're exhausting. And so I told them that I was going to bed. He followed me to my bedroom, and as he's shutting my door, he's like, "Don't worry, I'll take care of your mom." What that really meant was he took her into my bathroom, and they did it on my bathroom floor. Now, of course, I didn't know what was going on. They ended up leaving the next day, and then him and we basically started our relationship back up, and he ended up moving in with me. We were together for a few months. Things went really well for a while. He ends up having to go back to my hometown for work. We're still together. Things are a little strained, but we're still together. And one day I am speaking with my mom on the phone, and I hadn't told her yet that we were back together, but I felt like it was time. People were starting to find out because it had been several months, and it had been several good months, to be totally honest. And so I was on the phone with my mom, and I was telling her that we were back together, and she's like, "Are you sleeping with him?" And I was like, "Yes, we're back together." And she said, "Oh no, I just wish you wouldn't have done that." And I was like, "Why?" She's like, "You don't know who he is." And I was like, "Well, sure I do." She goes, "No, you have no idea who he is. I have been sleeping with him." Sorry, I'm trying so hard to not be one of those people that cry on the internet, and my dog gets really upset when I get upset. Hi, Dewey. So I'll collect myself and we'll get back to it. So she just tells me, and we get off the phone. She does not tell him that she's told me. And Those moments when time stands still, this was one of those moments for me. My heart just took off like a rocket. It was beating so hard. I had to sit down. I felt just like a wave of just emotion just rush over me. It was just like all of these fears I had had for so long came true, but in the worst way possible. I never imagined that it would be with my mother. I just felt in my heart that he had definitely been with other people. I just did not think it would be my mom. So my grandma was actually on her way over while I was on the phone with my mom, and so she came into my house and I was sitting on the couch and I told her, "Sit down, I have something to tell you." And I told her, and it was just, again, it was a very intense moment for both of us. We were both very upset. My grandpa did not like my husband. He, I think, saw through a lot of things, and my grandma had always defended my husband to him, and so she felt bad for having done that, and it was a really hard thing for us to process. And then of course the other element of this, that's my mom. How could my mom do that? It was really hard to hear it that day. I did not confront him right away. I took some time. I took a couple weeks actually. He was in another town, so it was just easy for us not to communicate a lot, and I didn't tell him, and we just ended up just being really casual for that time. He could sense that things were strained between us, and so we decided that we were gonna meet up and try to do something fun. So he rented an Airbnb, or not, sorry, a bed and breakfast, and it was in a town that was in between us. And I was basically thinking, that's where I will confront him. I knew I was going to record it because I have such a history of this person lying, and getting him to admit a lie is like pulling teeth. I'm not exaggerating. He just will look for any excuse to not look like a liar. He does not accept that he is a liar. I don't think he believes it. So I set up this basically date with him at this bed and breakfast so that I could get the information out of him that I wanted and try to get this all behind me. So I'll do another video on that, which will be me confronting him. I'm not doing it today. I'm pretty tapped out emotionally, but maybe tomorrow I will talk about how I confronted him, and then I have those recordings and I'm also going to post clips from that. But again, please don't try to dig up identities here. If this goes sideways on me, I'm just going to pull out, and what you'll do if you do that, you're just going to hurt me, because I'm looking for community, I'm looking for support, I'm looking for a way to move on from this. I'm trying to figure out how to date again and move on with my life. I am lonely. And so if this goes badly for me and I feel like I'm hurting people, which is not what I want to do, I will pull out, and you're just going to be hurting me and isolating me more, which is the last thing I need, because I have isolated myself quite a bit.
The last thing you need is to be worried about how people who hurt you will receive this. Listen, I understand, Messy fam, please don't go finding this person, please. You need to just stop worrying about what they think. I feel like the husband took advantage of her mother. It's not hard to manipulate these type of people. They already not in the right mindset. So all it takes is a high or whatever you feel like you can offer this person. Maybe it's just a feeling of love and care. This manipulative man definitely took advantage of her mother. I don't care what nobody say. I'm going to stand tall with it. I don't care how the mother's turned out to be because of it and all that. I get it. She's wrong. Don't get me wrong. She's dead wrong. But she's also not in her right mindset. If she wasn't on meth, this would have been like, what? But the meth thing made it seem as though I kind of understand why she wasn't in her right mindset. Messy fam, that's too spicy of a take? Is that an ill take? That's just what I'm thinking. But please don't try to go find this guy. Please, we don't care. Let's just hear the story, and then let's go support the creator. I will have her name, as you can see, tagged out throughout the video. So go follow her, support her for sure. But don't go find that husband. Let's just hear the story.
Anyways, thank you so much for all your love and support. The comments have just been incredible. It's been really fun to see all the different countries of people that this has reached. It's shocking to me, but it's really fun to see where you guys are from. And you've all sent such encouraging and loving messages and comments, and I really appreciate you, especially the people that follow and care to follow because they want to see what happens with my life. It means so much to me. I literally need a mom. I don't know, Bethany Frankel, you want to be my mom? Anyways, thank you so much. We'll talk more tomorrow. So part 3, again, I'm that unlucky girl whose man, this guy, got with this woman who also happens to be my mom. So if you haven't watched the previous 2 parts, you might want to. This is part 3, which is how I confronted him. So again, my mom had told me over the phone that her and him had been sleeping together, and I at this point was just shocked because in my heart I felt like he had been with someone, but I never dreamed it was my mom. So basically he wanted to see me. I took some time to just process this. He did not know I knew. And then he ended up renting a bed and breakfast for us, which was in between the two towns we lived in. So I drove there to meet him, and I knew I was going to record the conversation because I've just had so many scenarios. If you see my past videos of just insane lies this person has told me, and then he always tries to downplay it later. So I wanted to have actual recording so he could never try to make this seem like it isn't as bad as it is, because that is just his forte. That's what he does. And in the next part, I'll start including some of those clips from the audio recording. I found an app on my phone that I could use that would help me record without him knowing. Also, side note, in the recording, when I finally tell him I recorded you, you can never deny that this happened. He called me twisted for having recorded him, even though he had just admitted to the worst thing you could do to. There are worse things, I'm certain, but he admitted to something pretty terrible, and he called me twisted for having the audacity to record it. So we met for lunch. First, it was pretty awkward, but we met for lunch, and then we went to the bed and breakfast, and he immediately wanted to jump in bed. And I was like, no, we have to talk. There's some important things here to discuss. I started out kind of light with some of the smaller lies because I just decided I was going to try really hard to break up with him from this point on. And so my goal was just for my own peace of mind to try to get him to admit to all of the lies. And I didn't cover them all, but the big ones. For example, that one of the first lies, I did a video on that, but just before this one actually, that he bought me a fake wedding ring, and he never wanted to admit that was the truth about it. So that was one of the first lies. Another lie was that he's not a virgin when we got married, which I was a virgin. He wasn't. He claimed he was, and that was also a really big deal to me. I did not care that he was a virgin when we got married because I didn't expect him to be a virgin. That's a choice that I made. I was young. I was 19. He's older than me. And so I did not expect him to be a virgin, but I do expect honesty. And so the thing that bothered me about it was just that he wasn't truthful. Some of the other just like stupid little lies. One time we went down south, and my grandma was with us, and she's like my mom, truly. She's always been there for me. And he bought her a couch, a really nice leather couch. And then for months and months, he kept saying there was shipping issues, that Macy's wouldn't deliver. We were in Southern California, but we lived in Northern California, and he claimed that Macy's wouldn't ship to us. All these ridiculous lies. But the truth is, he never bought the couch. So that was another thing I got him to admit to. Just stupid little lies that have just bugged me over the years. Another one was when we got together, he convinced me to sell my car. I actually had a nicer car than the car he was going to have me drive, but he didn't want me to have a car payment, and so he convinced me to sell it. I sold my car, which I really loved, and then I started driving his old car. He bought himself a brand new sports car, and then one day he called me up and he said, I'm going to get you your dream car. And he's like, I got to go down south to get it, and I'm going to trade this one in for it. And I was like so excited, when in reality, he took that car down there and just sold it, and he never came back with the car. So I effectively lost a vehicle, and my grandparents gave me an old beater that they still had at the time. So anyways, we're just like on a roll. All these lies are trickling in, and then it's time to do the big one, right? Did you sleep with my mom? So first I asked him if he slept with my mom. He immediately says no. I asked him again, and again, and he just keeps telling me no, no, no. I wouldn't do that. That's so gross. You are gross, dude, because you actually did do it. Sorry, I'm getting a little. There's a lot of anxiety still in me around all this, and that's part of why I created this account. Is I'm trying really hard to move past it, and I am also trying very hard not to ever go back to him, but he's extremely persistent in my life, and I'm also trying to cut ties with my mom, which is really hard to do all that at once. And so anyways, I apologize if I'm a little bit nervous. So ultimately, I had talked to my mom and told her that I had planned to do this with him. And so the only good thing that she has done is she did have my back in this. And she told me, if you need me to call in and get him to admit this, I will. And so because he kept denying it to me, I had to call her in, which sucked because I really didn't want to have to involve her in it. And I feel like she feels like she has less blame now because she helped me get him to admit it. And that's just not true. You still did something insanely wrong to your daughter. I don't have a kid, but I did play a very big part in raising my sister. And I can tell you, I would never do anything to intentionally hurt that kid, not ever. And so I just can't imagine your own daughter that you could do this. So we get my mom on the phone, and this is why I had to really heavily edit the clips from the audio that I wanted to share with you, because keep in mind, my mom is on very serious drugs. That's why she looks the way she does in her mugshot that I've showed you, because people that live that sort of life, it definitely changes them. And one that starts with an M, the big one that starts with an M, that's the one that she's hooked on. And so in the recording, she's kind of all over the place. She's really loud and obnoxious, expletives everywhere. But she does a moment of clarity, and she says to him, "This is going to be the hardest thing you've ever done, but you need to admit this for her." And I think she believed that I was trying to stay with him, because she says in the clip that you guys are going to have to work through this, but it'll make you guys a better couple or whatever. But I went into this believing that I would never be with him ever again. So that's why the clips are pretty heavily edited. She eventually is starting to get off the phone because she thinks I haven't asked him yet. And so she goes to get off the phone. She goes, "Do you need anything else?" And I was like, "Well, I've already asked him multiple times and he has said no." And that just sends her into a rage. You'll hear it on the clip, but she says to him, she's like, "Ask him in front of me." And so I ask him again. He denies it. I really believe he thought she was going to have his back in this, which is just insane to me. I don't actually believe my mom was into him in any way. Every transaction they had either gifts or money involved. And so keep in mind, my mom was selling her body to get the things that she wanted, which
I'm so sorry, y'all. I did not know that. See, I literally just said it. Now, if you've been watching the video all throughout and you didn't skip anything, you heard me say this. I said that he took advantage of her mother. This is crazy. He knew that her mother was not well and he took advantage. That's why I blamed him. Because why would I blame someone who's not in their mind? I'm wrong, yes, but your mama was being taken advantage of. He really gave her something. I was wondering, ooh, let me watch this. He pissing me off though. We might have to find his ass.
starts with an M. And so because of that, first off, as soon as she told me that she had been with him, I cannot tell you how fast I ran to my OBGYN and had every single test and panel, all of it done, and repeated again at 3 months and repeated again at 6 months. Anyway, she finally says to him, "You're going to tell her the truth." And these aren't the exact words. You'll hear it later when you watch the clips that I'm going to upload. But anyway, he does eventually admit to it, but only when I say, "Look," because she also asks him and he denies it again. And that just really upsets her. And so I finally say to him, because I know what he wants and I know what he's afraid of. He's afraid of losing me. Keep in mind, when they did get together, part of it was when we were broken up. And it's just really gross because he has been very plain with the fact that he was using her, but thinking about me and I was the closest thing to her. It's really gross. I'm not even going to tell you some of the most disgusting things he said to me. So I finally say to him, "If we're going to work through this, you have to admit it." And he did. Again, I wasn't planning to work through it, but I just had to say whatever I could. So the clips will be up in the next part. Hello, me again, the girl whose mom slept with my husband, now ex-husband. So as promised, I did the story time. And as you know from my story time, I recorded the encounter of me confronting my husband about sleeping with my mom. My mom had told me over the phone. I waited a couple weeks to ground myself and wrap my head around it as best I could. And then I confronted it. So as promised, I'm going to share clips of that recording with you. But this time, I will hold your hand. I am giving a trigger warning because it's awful. And so I'm here for you. So this first part, I had already been speaking with him for probably 10 minutes, just trying to get some of the smaller lies that he had told me out of the way. Did you give me a fake ring? Did you actually just sell my car? And when you told me you were getting me a new car, but really you just sold my car and I was carless. I was getting him to admit those types of things while building up to the big one. So this first recording is me kind of building up to try to get him to admit the truth to me without having to involve my mom. My mom was on standby to call in and help me confront him if he was going to continue to lie about it, but I really didn't want to do it that way unless I absolutely had to. So this is me trying to get him to be honest with me for the first time in his entire life. So give me your hand and let's go through this together.
I've always still thought you to be the most honest person in my life. No, listen to me. No, listen. I have. Up even until recently, I thought you were the most honest person, that I could trust you with anything, and that you would never do anything to intentionally hurt me. Then you sold my car that I loved right after my grandpa died, weeks after my grandpa died. Even though I had phone conversations with you, even after you took the car where I told you I didn't want to go through with it, you still sold the car. But none of that matters to me more than what's coming next. I want you to be totally honest with me. Have you slept with anybody but me in your entire life?
No, honey.
Have you slept with anybody but me in your entire life?
No.
I'm the only person that you've had sexual intercourse with.
Of course.
Why do you keep moving your eyes when you tell me that?
Because it really hurts my feelings.
What hurts your feelings?
That you would think that. I mean, I just don't have that compatibility with other people.
Did you have sex with my mom?
No. Come on, that's gross.
Did you have sex with my mom?
No. I don't feel that way about your mom.
I don't want to have to get her on the phone. I want you to, for the first time in our relationship, this right here is going to determine what happens for the rest of your and my life.
Let's talk to your mom.
Did you have sex with my mother?
I couldn't, George.
Are you certain?
Yes. Let's get her on the phone.
You've never had sex with my mother.
I don't want to insult your mom, but...
You didn't recently go into the dollar store and get so aroused that you had to go relieve yourself?
I did get turned on, I will admit that.
By my mom?
Because I was imagining you.
But you didn't have sex with my mom?
No. You didn't want to, anyway.
But you wanted to?
No, I was turned on. I was thinking about you, honestly.
Okay, and you've never had sex with her?
No.
Not once?
No.
Maybe just one time?
No. I will admit that there were times when I was turned on by her because I was thinking of you, honestly.
I'm still holding your hand. Now stay with me. The next part, I'm gonna bring my mom on, unfortunately, because as you can see, he's just denying and still not being truthful with me. So hang on tight, and the next part will be up very soon. Are you still with me? This is part 2 of me confronting my husband, this time with my mom. So I'm in person with my husband, my mom's on the phone. That's how this went down, and I'm recording on my phone, but he's not aware that I'm recording. Again, I'm gonna hold your hand, and I'm giving a trigger warning. I need you to understand that, again, my mom is on some really heavy things that start with an M, and so she does tend to have a lot of profanity and expletives, and I cut out and edited as much as I could, but that's partly why the trigger warning is on here, also the content of what we're dealing with here. So just bear with me on that. So if you watched part 1, you will have heard that I'm asking him over and over, have you slept with anybody but me? And then I finally asked him, did you sleep with my mom? And he's just denying. And so then I had to call my mom, and that's why my mom's on the phone. And I didn't catch the beginning of it in this clip because it just wasn't important. This is when we get down to the nitty and gritty. And this is where we really press him to try to get a confession from him. And again, I didn't want to do it this way because I do feel like my mom thinks that she has less blame here now that she helped him confess, and that's just not the case, and I didn't want her to feel that way, but I had no way to get him to be honest with me without her, and I truly think he was shocked that she didn't stay true to the lie and keep it for him. So give me your hand again, and let's listen to part 2, and it's heavy.
Goes against me and puts me down. I don't want to hear none of it. And I hope you do this with her because this will be good for both of you. It's going to be the hardest thing you guys probably ever do. Don't you dare talk shit about me or use me as an excuse for what's going on. You need to own it.
I don't feel bad about you. I've been trying to help you.
You're already doing it. And I'm telling you, if you around and you lie to her one more second and you don't give her details that she needs, I will tell her more, and I will prove it. And you better think about that. It doesn't even matter. You should be doing this the right way anyways. Don't use me as an excuse
Hey,
or make it seem like this is between you and her. I'm gonna go. Are you okay?
Yeah, he keeps telling me that it didn't happen.
You gotta, and you know what?
she's gonna look at your messages.
No, you fucking answer me right now in front of my daughter. Did you and I
No, we didn't. I
Oh
told her I'm attracted
Okay,
to you.
you and I, you're going down. I'm gonna get Jana. I'm gonna get everybody that's been around you.
You
It's gonna
talked
go
to Jenna.
further. And we're gonna talk about
Didn't have sex
Yeah.
with Jenna.
I don't care what you did with her,
And
but
you-
you did
and you didn't.
cross the line. You're arguing with me about my daughter and the fact that you told her you're telling, say it again. Ask him so I can hear this. I'm sick right now.
Did you have sex with my mother? Ever?
No, I don't.
You're fucking disgusting, and I hope she dumps your ass like a hot. You're a liar, and I will prove this to her. And I'm sad for you because she loves you unconditionally, and you're just determined to continue to be a liar. And he manipulated both of us, by the way. You were helpful, hardly ever. And I'm sad, but I will never, ever be able to forgive you for this. You're a liar. You need to go, by the way. Sorry, I'm starting to get too emotional. He's lying to you. At the hardest time in your life. when
I
he
know
is
he's lying.
actually-
I know it.
I don't even have to waste my breath. I gotta settle down. I'm gonna have a heart attack because this is not right in so many ways. And you told him that I've already said I have a huge. You told him I have a part in this, right?
Of course.
And I've admitted it.
One more time, and please don't lie to me. Not one more time about anything. If you had sex with my mom, we can talk about this and we can work through it. If you lie to me about having sex with my mom, we will never be able to work through it.
I did.
You did have sex with my mom?
Yeah, I did.
Yes, he did.
Are you still with me? You're gonna have to hold my hand now. There is a little bit more that I want to share with you, but I think that's enough for today. Again, if you're wondering why I'm doing this, I am trying so hard to heal and I'm trying to hold myself accountable, and I need community. I need support. I need friends. So thank you for being here. We'll talk tomorrow.
I wanted this to be so not true. I really wanted it not to be true. I thought my mom's a meth head. Maybe she's making this up for some crazy reason. She's also bipolar. Do this. Especially right now.
I do love you more than anything in my life.
You don't love me.
I do.
No, you don't. You don't do this to someone you
Honey,
love.
I just need you.
I would never do this to someone that I loved.
Honey, I need you so bad. I can't be without you. You're like the air that I breathe.
Do you know Grandma knows about this?
I don't know, honey.
She is so heartbroken for me. She can't believe that that's who you are. She said, I defended him to Jim all those years and I was wrong.
Honey, I wish you knew how deeply I was hurt.
No level of hurt justifies what you did. You could have given me an STD.
All right, messy family. I'm not gonna lie, that's probably the messiest story I've ever come across in my entire life. I definitely needed to hold hands. Did this man just say that he was hurt by all of this too? Oh, I just don't get it. That's a narcissist. I think we figured out what a narcissist is. All right, now I feel like the word narcissist get thrown out there a little too much. I feel like sometimes this ain't a narcissist. That's a fucking narcissist, 100%. If you don't know what a narcissist is, don't even look in the dictionary. Just take him for example. Narcissist, manipulative, user. Listen, she want to keep it PG. She's worried about their feelings. Me, Messy, I can give a fuck less. If she don't want us to go find that man, don't find him, Messy family. Don't, just let it be what it is. We hear the story. Let me know what y'all think. If you watch the full video, which I expect a lot of you, because we post longer videos than this, I pray that she finds the man that she needs, or if she don't find a man at all, I just pray that she finds that peace. I don't believe it was a second that your mom was in her right mind. I think if she was in her right mind, she wouldn't have made that decision. But then again, I don't know your mother. But what do you guys think, Messy family? Do y'all feel like he took advantage of mother? I feel like she should forgive her mother. I feel like you should forgive your mom. I pray that your mom finds help as well. But go follow her, show her some love, and try to keep your negative opinions to yourself. She's already going through a lot. To the next video, Messy family. Peace.